that is getting started and should be good to go. But yeah, so good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Shanika. So things are still getting started in the background, so I have sound in my ear. But yeah, I'm Shanika. I'm the current Atlanta chapter president. I do see a lot of new faces, so welcome. So for those for this being their first time joining a BDPA Atlanta session, BDPA is a nonprofit membership organization. So for those that maybe joined a little bit after Victor's spiel, where our areas of engagement are we're mostly focusing on exposure. So ways that we can expose our members to technical advancements, potential fields they could jump into, and just overall development. So as Victor was mentioning earlier, we have our STEM program. We've also been calling it like our K through 12 program. So we'll have students come in and they're being introduced and to web development, data science, mobile app, even research that is happening in academia. And they're working with us throughout the year in with hopes of honing their skills to participate in our conference that actually just wrapped up last August. We also have our college level that we're still growing. As I mentioned earlier, my alma mater is Georgia State University, so trying to connect with, keep them in contact, and I guess source opportunities that might become available in the community out to them that they might be unaware of. The other area I would say was like our sessions that we're having here this evening. So for our working professionals, we'll host sessions typically the third Wednesday of the month. There is opportunity for other sessions to happen throughout the month. If someone has topics that they're interested in, feel free to reach out to us and let us know. But we'll host these sessions that as we have today. Matrix has been gracious to continue. Matrix Technologies has been gracious to continue to partner with us and bring us content for I guess over 2 years now. And I'll hand it over to John to introduce our speaker.
Sure. Yeah. It's been, time flies, doesn't it? Goodness gracious. Yeah. So I think it has been a little over 2 years or maybe longer, but this year we've had sort of a theme going on just with how the market has been this year for employment. And, so there's so many great companies in Atlanta, ADP being one of them, where, we went from a pandemic state where, demand was kind of low to this like incredible, intense demand for people in the IT space. And so Shanika and Victor and I thought at the beginning of the year, hey, maybe this is a good way that we can give back to, a lot of our great Atlanta organizations, just as an opportunity and a platform to highlight their culture and, have some exposure with the community. While there's maybe not as many people that signed up, I think we had about 20 people or so that signed up, and we didn't have that many join the call here, but it is obviously being recorded and gets posted on the website. So there's a lot of eyes and ears that are engaged in this conversation afterwards. So I just want to say thank you to the ADP team for joining us tonight and, opening up and, talking about your shop and why people come to ADP, why they stay, and what's all happening. There's a lot going on in the product area and the architecture area, the UX area. So lots for us to dive into tonight. So Jonathan, thank you for, I think I sort of like cast the poll out to you, and thank you for accepting. And I'll flip it over to Anna here, I think, to kind of go around with introductions, and we'll get started. So thanks again.
Yeah, Thank you for that, John. Thank you, Shanika. Hi, my name is Anna Smith, and I am a Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner, TABP is what we call it here for ADP. And I'm specifically aligned with our Global Product and Technology team. So I'm just here tonight to talk a little bit more about what recruitment looks like at ADP, a little bit more about the recruitment process and what we're looking for. Definitely answer any questions anyone may have. Feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability, and just give you an overview of what it looks like to work at ADP, just some of our accolades that we've had over the past, and of course, I'm happy to give my own personal experience of what it's been like as an employee here. I've been here for 5 years now, as well as recruiting all over the country, from I would say entry-level roles all the way up to principal, director level roles. I've kind of run the full gamut of all of that for our tech hiring. So, but yeah, I'm excited to be here. Very excited to introduce ADP. It's a great company. I'm passionate about it. I think that the past couple of years has really shown what ADP is made of, in all honesty. I mean, we have really just weathered a lot, with the ups and downs of the economy and just the pandemic and everything that's been going on. And it's just been really incredible to see the way that ADP has been able to pivot, the way that we've been able to manage our hiring, our onboarding, everything. So there's a lot, that goes on behind the scenes of recruitment. So I will just kind of tell you a little bit about how the recruitment works here at ADP, and then I'll just segue into a PowerPoint presentation that I have that will just give you more of an overview of the company. But with ADP, we do have our careers page, which you would go to and you would apply to any roles that way. A lot of our job postings are out on LinkedIn as well. But to be honest, this is one of our favorite ways of recruiting for candidates, is to get out in the community, to come to these types of events, to have our leaders, everyone that's here tonight that took time away to be here and to show up and to build those relationships, because really that's just the best way to meet great candidates, and to be able to talk about the company is not really when you have a role open. You're already, you're in a mode, right, where you're already needing something, but to be proactive and to put the name out there and just meet with the talent community that's in your local area. So I love that we're doing this. I honestly haven't done a virtual event in a while. Most of the events I've ever attended have been in person. I'm out here in Southern California. We do have a large tech hub in Pasadena, where we would host a lot of meetups. We would do just various events. And so I would typically attend those with our leaders and, talk about recruitment there and get to meet a lot of the candidates in person. But either way, it's just always great networking with the community. So I just wanted to, give that introduction and just let you guys know that I am happy to be here. Okay, so I'm gonna go into a slide here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Hold on one second. Bear with me. Okay, there we go. Okay, can you all see my screen now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna hide this. Let's see, how do I does anyone know how I can make this presentation mode? I don't know, I can take all this other stuff off.
In the lower right-hand corner next to Zoom.
Lower right-hand corner?
Yeah, the little icon next to the Zoom bar, that should take you into full
Oh,
screen.
perfect.
Yeah, that one.
Yes, awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about ADP. This is our Global Products and Technology Info Session. Please mute your lines. Honestly, I don't care if you mute your lines. Feel free to drop a question in the chat or just holler it out. Doesn't bother me either way. Okay, so we have some speakers for you guys today. So we have Sia Mosley. She is our Senior Director of Product Management. We have Shane Bowman, who is our Senior Director of UX Design. And then we also have Oscar Valdez, who is our Principal Architect for Product Development. And myself, there I am. And then my partner, Victoria, was supposed to be here tonight. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it, but I do have my other partner, Peter Dolan, who's also from our Global Product and Technology TA team as well here. So this is from our president and CEO of ADP, Carlos Rodriguez. So this is actually a quote from him, directly just talking about how he personally views diversity and inclusion. He's just a firm believer that we need people from all backgrounds to drive innovation and growth. ADP, we're a Fortune 400 company now. I mean, we're in so many different countries and every single major state. So we really need, as he mentioned here, we need people who reflect the diversity of our clients and the markets that we serve. We need all associates collaborating and working together to delight our clients, fully engaged and reaching their highest potential. I love that quote because I feel like there's just so much truth to that. I mean, we are just all about our customers. Our customers are so diverse in terms of the businesses that they're in, the size that they're in, the communities that they serve. So ADP at a glance. So we have been around for a while, founded in 1949. I talk to a lot of candidates, and when I introduce ADP, well, first usually they say, "Oh yeah, the security company," and I say, "No, that's ADT. That's the security company. We're ADP." And then they say, "Oh yeah, I think I got a paycheck from you guys at some point in my career." Probably. We've been around for so long, and 920,000 plus clients in 140 countries. $15 billion USD revenue in fiscal year 21. 58,000 associates globally. I think we're at 55 when I started here, so we've grown. We keep growing. And then one of the largest providers of HCM, which stands for Human Capital Management Services in North America, Europe, Latin America, Pacific Rim. We're an award-winning organization. You can see a lot of the awards here that we've won. Best Company for Women, Best Company Culture. These are all very recent. Best Company for Diversity. We also have won awards many years back to back for one of the best companies for working moms as well. I didn't see that one on here, but I just wanted to highlight that because I think that is an important one as well. And then, so ADP Tech at a glance. So we touch the lives of 67 million people. That's a lot of impact there. So one of the really unique pieces about working here as a technologist is that the work that you do impacts so many different people. So, it really does change how people are getting paid, right? How we're moving money, and really just everything that goes into managing a workforce of employees. So, it's important, right? Everybody wants to get their paychecks at the end of the day. So the work that we do here really matters. We solve the toughest challenges of tomorrow's workforce and shaping the future of work for millions. So you can just see here, in the US, 1 in 6 people get paid by us, process 67 million employee tax statements, big data from 90 million workers, over $2.1 trillion moved annually. So that's a lot of reach here with this company. All right, careers in technology at ADP. So this is really my area of specialty. I'm not a technologist, I'm a recruiter, but I have recruited in all of these different spaces. So these are just some of the areas where we do tend to hire quite a bit. So if this is an area where your skill set lies, you definitely would probably want to check out our careers page and see what we have open. And you can also sign up. Here's the website, tech.adp.com. So you can see what we have. And then you can also sign up to get notifications for any future jobs that come up. If you want to receive our blog that gets sent out, our newsletter, you can sign up for all of that and just stay in contact with us. Just because we don't have the right opening for you at this moment doesn't mean that we won't in the future, right? With careers and job and recruiting, it's constantly changing. So I would encourage you to sign up with us and start building a relationship with us, and then that job might open up where you already are familiar with us, and then you could apply and be notified about it. But this is everything that we do. Whoops. Uh-oh. How do I go back? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. I lost control.
Don't feel bad. It happens to the best of us.
Okay.
Your up arrow.
There we go. I found it. Okay. Yeah. I'm back. Okay, here we go. ADP Tech this thing. Okay. ADP Tech Product and Awards. So you can see here several of the teams that we work with. So it can get a little bit confusing, I think, for candidates. They just think ADP, we cut paychecks. We actually make over 200 different products. So there is a lot going on at this company. So we would not expect anyone to know any of this right off the bat. But here are just some of the different, the product philosophies that we have, the different areas that we touch, just to get a feel for what we do offer here. And then let me see here. These are some of our awards that we've won. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, no, I didn't. All right, just a few more awards. So you can see here. Yeah, I mean, I feel like even the awards and the areas that we've been recognized are just so diverse within themselves. Just a top company by LinkedIn, best companies for women, top rated workplace for veterans, absolutely, working mothers, like I had mentioned, diversity, and just in general, an admire company, best places to work for LGBT equality. I mean, there's just so much that we offer here, and I really do feel like we just do a great job of just touching all spaces and all areas, that matter to the people that we would be wanting to come and work for this company, in all honesty. So that is, there's a little bit more about, so tech.adp.com is the website where you're going to want to go to, that has all of our videos, our careers page. You can sign up and you can just really learn a lot more about us. We'll have our podcast there, career, social handles, everything is going to be at tech.adp.com. And I'll definitely drop that in the chat box.
And there was a couple of more slides that didn't make your presentation.
Oh, no.
Yes. And how do you share? Share. And I am sharing. Do you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
1 second. Get the right presentation over here.
Yep, these are speakers.
Yes. Okay, that didn't do what I wanted it to do because it went into presentation mode. 1 second. I have multiple screens up. And it opened up on the wrong screen. So let me see if I move my presentation over here and then hit share. It stays on the same screen. Okay.
It's sharing now, Jonathan. I think
Yeah,
you have the right screen now. It's showing Shane.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Oh, I didn't want to start with
Do
Shane.
you want to go back one?
Yeah.
Back up the slide.
All right.
I'm going to remember that, Jonathan.
There you go.
All right, there we are. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Sia Mosley. I am Senior Director of Product Management at ADP for National Accounts. And so I lead a team of various product managers, senior product managers, lead product managers, and directors as well. And so I get the question often, what does a role within product management look like within ADP? Basically, within this role, you work alongside a team of friendly and passionate creative product managers and developers that basically bring our products to market. You create product release plans that ensure our teams develop solutions using ADP's cloud-based AI and machine learning. As Anna mentioned earlier, we have tons of different products. So we're talking about payroll, tax, HR, talent, benefit, all of those solutions we offer to our client base. And basically, we make them easier to use and help our clients stay compliant and manage costs and save time. So what we're looking for when we are hiring product managers, we're looking for someone who excels, especially when no 2 days are never, ever the same. Integrity, resilience, pushing the boundaries, those are all must-haves in this job. We're constantly in meetings with, whether that's with clients or sales, developers, design. You'll hear from Shane in a minute. You'll be the guiding voice that helps us clarify ideas so that we can create a product roadmap. We stay close to market trends and anticipate our customers' next questions and bring new ideas into the mix. We evangelize our products and communicate those ideas with confidence. So basically taking the experience and that product into the marketplace and positioning it for maximum impact, again, to our clients. So what does a typical day look like? I know I said, there's no 2 days that really looks the same. One of the things we do is we work with Scrum teams. So we start each day working with those teams to understand responsibilities, identifying issues, communicating priorities, and we continue to have those meetings throughout the day as we create and organize our roadmap. We also research and write requirements. We own the design. We'll document, we prioritize features. We're always learning and researching the new industry trends to make our products better and incorporating what makes sense into our product roadmaps based on the feedback that we receive from our clients and the marketplace. Also taking into consideration what the organizational goals of ADP are and what impact the future of technology has on those products. I heard a lot in the beginning of this presentation talking about relationships. That's extremely important in this role, creating strong alliances with diverse stakeholders, our internal business partners, just ensuring that everyone is in alignment and that we're all working together and communicating in the most appropriate fashion. We often collaborate across multiple teams. Like I said, with developers, with other product managers. We have several product management teams. We have user experience teams, just to name a few. But just continually striving to drive innovation and making the product the best it can be. We take measurements. We have basically measuring the effectiveness of the product, reporting outcomes and driving priorities. Variety of work. Again, there is no typical day. You could be working with the UX team on client experience journeys to deliver new features, product enhancements, creating new services. But the best part of all is that you get to see those ideas come to life. And then presentations, such as this one. You get to speak to the internal, external stakeholders to communicate and defend those ideas, and always being able to answer those tough questions. And so the why. Why do we do what we do? We deliver real user outcomes. We deliver at an epic scale using strong judgment, good instincts, And just, again, focusing on that client experience and the happiness and that they have so they can be the most productive that they can be. Surrounded by curious learners, we align ourselves with other smart people in an environment where we grow and elevate one another. We look for, what do? We want to act like an owner and a doer. So just really mission driven and committed to leading change. And then giving back to others, always doing the right things, keeping our clients first and foremost in mind, our community, giving back to that community. As we mentioned earlier, there are a number of different organizations within the company that you can always contribute to, both in and outside of work. And then just, being a part of a company that's committed to equality and equity. Our goal overall is to impact lasting change through our actions. So that's just kind of a glimpse at what product management within ADP looks like. If you have any further questions about that space, just drop those in the chat and happy to answer those. And I'll turn that over to Shane, who's up next.
Thank you so much. I've been at ADP 7 years. I started as a senior designer on the ADP mobile app. And in that time, I've been very grateful and lucky to grow with the organization. We started UX at ADP over 25 years ago, but only in the last 3 years have we grown to be a team of more than 350. We've got about 25 leaders, and we have user experience vice presidents who help drive and deliver trustworthy experiences that ultimately help our employees and associates crush their jobs. It sounds a little twee, but it's absolutely essential that our designs are outcome focused. And so much like Sia and Oscar and others here, we look for people who have high collaboration skills, people who are outcomes focused, meaning we don't just design pretty experiences, we design experiences that are intuitive, insightful, and intelligent. We use tools like Jira, just like the development side does, but we also use Miro and Figma to collaboratively create designs and test them in products like User Zoom. We track the effectiveness of our designs in Pendo, and we've been dedicated to building a new design system across ADP products so that we can deliver world-class experiences at scale. Part of my focus at ADP has been to support leadership triads in Scrum and at all levels of the organization, where product UX and development come together in a cross-disciplinary approach to help make sure we're meeting our users' needs with every single thing we do. Right now, our organization is focused on developing and supporting UX maturity across ADP. That means we have to be engaged from discovery, the very beginning of conceiving of an experience, through the delivery of that experience. So many people have to touch the ultimate outcome that it requires a high amount of collaboration, skill, and communication to help nurture an idea successfully from its conception through multiple iterations on a monthly basis. We're also focused on developing standards in not just user interaction, but also in content, so that ultimately we are building best of breed experiences across all of our products. We have openings in design, in writing, and research. We also have openings on our design system team where you can impact products worldwide with a single pattern. I've been at ADP for 7 years because this is the most diverse and supportive organization that I've ever worked for. And in order for us to ultimately meet our users' needs, we have to have a diverse set of perspectives in order to meet them. Without that, we would never be able to do what we do. And so I'm really grateful to be here today to talk to you and to talk to you about opportunities in user experience, but also how we achieve what we do on a day-to-day basis at scale. I'm going to hand it off to Oscar, but if you have any questions, reach out to me in chat or via LinkedIn. Be more than happy to answer your questions.
And we will have a Q&A at the end. So
Awesome. Thanks, Jonathan.
You're welcome.
Hello, I am Oscar Valdez. I started with ADP 4 years ago, and I've been working with Shane a good bit during those 4 years as well. And just like Shane, I've been lucky enough to grow with the organization as well. When I started, I was a lead app dev, and I was pretty much focused solely on the time off feature. Over time, my responsibilities have grown, and now I lead application development for our MyADP application and for the ADP mobile application. As you can see, we work with a lot of different tech stacks across the board. We work with very mature software like Java, Spring Boot, and we also work with a lot of the more cutting edge stuff like Stencil.js, web components, Flutter. There really isn't anything we don't do from a development standpoint. It's really more so where do your interests lie and what kind of problems you want to solve. From a day-to-day, it's a lot of collaboration and problem solving. So you normally always are working in collaboration with the UX partners and the product managers. Your day could be fixing bugs in production, or it could be doing POCs to senior leadership, or it could be working on the next gen features or the next gen applications. The reason I've stayed at ADP is definitely because of the challenging problems you get to face in an application this size. There's quite literally, I think, 50 million lines of code in our code base, and that's just in the scope of where most of my development is done. But across the organization, there's a lot of other applications the same size, and then you also have the more greenfield projects that basically get to work as startups within the organization. So the big benefit of a company like ADP is that you're going to be able to find, from a development perspective, you're going to be able to find flows that work at any sort of range that you're looking for. If you're looking to work in a more in a quick, more agile flow, there's groups like Pi that are they work more like a startup, and then there's groups that are a lot more mature that deal with things that are out in production that you get to deal with the scaling issues that smaller apps don't get to deal with. But if you have any questions about what we have available, there's all kinds of roles from front-end engineers, back-end engineers, a lot of ML stuff that we're building today, like our intelligent self-service that just won HR Product of the Year. We also have an iOS engineer role open and a couple of Android engineer roles open for our ADP app that is also a top 10 business application in both the iOS and Android store. So feel free to reach out to me with any questions about those roles. Thank you.
All right, now the fun time, questions. And turn it back, just open it up to everyone. Again, my name is Jonathan Watkins, and I am a senior technical project manager here at ADP. I've been around ADP 9.5 years, so I'm the senior person on the call. But I work as a project manager, release train engineer, and Scrum Master within the organization. So just wanted to mention that in case we have any project management type questions. But with that said, you can feel free to open your mics and ask any particular question, or put it in the chat and we will take the chat. But we would like to make this more personal. So please, let's talk.
So I'll jump in here and get a question going. I'll preface this with, this is not my skill set that I'm asking the question on, but I know many in our community would be interested to know this from a cyber perspective. So information security, what can you all share about, opportunities or just within ADP, how you look at cyber information security, and maybe what are some of the technologies that you use to support that space?
Anybody want to take that one? I would throw it over to Oscar since it seemed the more technical, but we don't have any cyber people on this particular call.
So I can at least speak to how security is organized at ADP in general. I'm on the application development side of things, but security is handled as a completely separate group. So we have, it's called GSO, which is our global security organization. And they are the ones that really drive security for us. So it's kind of, we try to not have the application developers build security into the systems, because obviously that could have other issues. But we have the global security organization deals with most of the processes that we put in place. A lot of those are like build time security checks that go into our Jenkins pipeline for our applications. And then there's a lot of runtime checks that they do. And they do a lot of penetration testing against our applications. So a lot of the times we'll get defects that come in from the GSO around just different sort of security risks that they've gotten. Some of them are critical, some of them are not. But I'm not on the side of to actually give the details on exactly what kind of tooling they use from their side.
Hey, that's perfect. I did my job then. I at least asked the question.
Hey everyone, this is Nikki Andrews. I have a quick question around data and analytics positions. So I did see, I think on a previous slide, that you have a data science team, and I'm just wondering if you have digital data analyst positions, as well as data positions around instrumentation, so around delivering reporting, but also kind of sitting between the business and the technical teams and implementing analytics with a tool. I don't know if that fits the ADP business model. And I've also seen this group sit in various different groups. So I've seen it under data, I've seen it under project management, and I'm just curious if you have positions similar to that.
That sounds like a recruitment question. Is Anna or Pete any feedback?
I know that we do. However, that's not in my swim lane for sure. What I can do for you though, I'll leave my email in the chat. Feel free to send me those questions and I could definitely pass it on to the team that handles that, as well as looking at the open opportunities on the site as well.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions?
Let's hop into culture, right? So I know from a D&I standpoint, you all discuss how diversity is a major component of the success within your spaces. What are some of the activities around diversity that one could anticipate participating in as a member of ADP?
You said different activities of diversity. Sure. I am a member of one of our business resource groups called Cultivate, which is our African-American resource group. And on that particular board, that's just one. We have a myriad of other diversity organizations, from women to Hispanic to military strong to our gay and lesbian pride team. So just being part of the business resource groups allows me the opportunity, because I'm a member of all of them, to network with different people. I participated in the Pride Parade. I just did the Hard Walk a couple of Saturdays ago. So it's a great way for individuals to build relationships, as well as get different opportunities to show your skills, to show your leadership skills, to show your mentoring skills. I was mentoring someone just today in helping them out. So that's one of the great ways that we at ADP have opportunities for, from a diversity standpoint, to reach out to different cultures and learn about different cultures and bring that back to their individual teams.
And to piggyback on that, I'm also part of the Levanta Heritage Group. So it's the Hispanic business group here at ADP as well. And also from like a personal experience, ADP is also, they listen a lot to their employees. So one of my good friends, he started the first React conference here in the Southeast. It's the first Black-owned tech conference down here, and ADP was one of the first major sponsors to sponsor that tech conference. So that was a really big deal, and it's helped them. Now they're on their like 4th year running that with companies as big as like Amazon, Google, but ADP was one of the pioneers to get that conference started.
It's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
I got a question. And sorry, I had another meeting that I had to go to, and I was able to get out of that and come back here. So I teach at Georgia State University a web programming course, and I have between 30 to 60 or 70 people that show up for a virtual lecture. Is ADP interested in coming in? And these are seniors and grad students, so people that are looking for jobs or internships. Is ADP interested in coming and talking with my students for about a half an hour, 45 minutes, to just tell them a little bit about ADP, but also tell them a little bit about what it takes to go transition from the world of college to the world of the real world? And if so, who would I contact for that?
So I've actually done this at UGA and Georgia Tech with ADP, and it's normally in collaboration. Normally it's the recruiting partners that reach out to me to come to those events with them as a tech partner, but I'm sure the recruiters here could probably give more details into how that works.
Sure. Actually, here internally at ADP, we have a campus outreach team that not only handles the students that are looking or close to graduation, but will be able to provide a format and take advantage of those. So Robert, I'll be happy to send that information over to you.
Awesome.
I sent my email out to the chat. Feel free to just shoot me a note and I'll send that info to you.
Great. And this is just, I'm just a professor in the cogs of the institution. So this is just for this particular class because I like my students, they're good, and I want them to have the opportunity to hear about fine organizations like yours. So, and thanks for paying me when you do.
You are more than welcome to drop my name like Oscar as well. I've done that for UGA and Georgia Tech, and I still coach and mentor students in those organizations. It's probably one of the most rewarding things that I do with ADP. So I'd love to come talk to your class and be available to answer any kind of questions and give them a peek at what it's like day to day to do what we do.
Awesome. Thank you guys. And thank you for coming here and talking with us.
Thanks for having us.
Other questions?
I'll toss another one out there, Oscar, for you, as I think about, how long ADP, has been in existence. And, as you make that transition to an organization that probably has, folks that have been there for, 20 plus years, what was it like for you coming into ADP and integrating into a corporation that had so many tenured employees? Was the transition easy for you? Did you feel embraced when you
Oh,
started?
yeah, no, I've definitely felt embraced, and there's been a lot of people that have helped me. I came from more of a startup background before I joined ADP. So the startup world is a lot more cutthroat. It's a lot faster paced. It's normally a couple of people's money on the line. ADP, it's everyone was willing to help you, mentor, and really that's really what progressed my career very quickly. ADP was the friendships I was able to make, the people that helped me along the way, and I was able to have leaders that put me in the position to solve really challenging problems that got a lot of visibility. And Shane has been also one of those people that have helped a lot with a lot of those projects that I was on. He was one of the main people designing a lot of the pretty stuff that I got to code.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, Tony, I'm gonna, since you're on, we have another product manager on. You've been here a little over a year. What brought you to ADP and what's keeping you here?
Yeah, I think for the most part is really the diversity of the systems and the people is really what brought me here. Every day, as you heard some of the other speakers talk about, there's a real vast of different topics that you're going to touch on every day. And you're going to deal with a lot of different people every day. But the one thing that Oscar mentioned, everyone is really embracing to new people coming in, whether they're there 30 years or whether they're there for 6 months. There's a lot of collaboration that takes place up and down the organization. So it's really, really an awesome place to work.
Appreciate it. Other questions?
Are you guys primarily working remotely, or is it a hybrid type of situation for the teams, or a little bit different in each group?
I could speak to that a little bit. I know it's a little bit different for each group. For example, the team that I support is our Lithion team that does our next gen platform, our kind of cutting edge product. Collaboration is very key to that, especially between application folks and back end platform folks. So they prefer a hybrid model. So I would say that's probably the majority, but there are a few departments that are definitely open to complete remote as well.
And just to add to that, different positions. We do have home short positions that do get posted, but the majority of our opportunities are within the office and in the hybrid model, 2 to 3 days a week within the office.
And geographically, are most of the positions here in Atlanta, up on Windward Parkway right there, or are they, spread out over the country?
It's both. I mean, I think the pandemic helped our culture evolve to be, I think, to embrace remote work much more effectively. But I think to Pete's point, we have high speed teams that are trying to do things very rapidly, and nothing replaces face-to-face speed. So I think it's actually made us a better company to be able to embrace hybrid methodologies. So, I mean, my team is spread out from Brazil to Toronto to California to New York. Ideally, I like to make sure I'm hiring in the same time zone, but I don't care where great talent comes from, and I don't think anyone else at ADP does either. So the pandemic, I think, was a gift to our culture to help us evolve in a smart way.
Are there any maybe fun events that happen? So since coming into the office is maybe not as scheduled, are there kind of scheduled, like fun events that are scheduled either remotely or just in person at the office that you all have been doing too? Or at least on your individual teams, any to recall?
We do a virtual happy hour. We're getting in a kind of, doing games, doing things like icebreakers to really try to bring everybody that's remote together as a team. And it's been pretty successful, and it makes for a lively group for sure.
Yeah, same here. We started a lot of rituals in the pandemic that we've persisted post-pandemic. It sounds silly, but Bring Your Pet Day was probably the most popular thing we did, and we continue to do it. And simple, fun icebreakers like that help us connect remotely. So we also have the tools. ADP made a tremendous investment during the pandemic in collaboration tools. So whether it's something simple like WebEx or Zoom, or when it gets into the actual individual disciplines and design, we made a huge shift to Figma over the last 3 months, and that has enabled us to collaboratively design in the same environment in real time. And so we're now looking at things that are collaborative design but fun, to just kind of break up not only what we do day to day, but also to kind of open up our thinking. We actually have an inclusion workshop in UX on Fridays. So we do things that I think are topical, but we also do things like the global hackathon, which is, I don't know how many thousands of people participate, but it's grown from something very small to something worldwide. And we go through multiple rounds of judging in our global hackathon, and the top 3 get recognized and awarded and go to New Jersey, and it's fun. It's different cultures like Lifion or ADP Mobile do more regular kind of Shark Tank innovation exercises, and I still love those, and I remember so many of the ones that I got to do on ADP Mobile. So I think it really depends on the group you're in, but again, I think the pandemic was a gift to that, right? Helped give us more options and different ways to connect.
Yep. And kind of to speak on that, like now that we have a hybrid model, those 2 days that I'm in the office, they're really used mostly to connect with a lot of my coworkers, to have the conversations that just are more impactful in person, go grab a coffee with, we're hiring so much that there's still, I think I've been grabbing a coffee every Tuesday and Thursday for the past 3 months, and I still haven't had a conversation with all the new developers. So that'll probably continue for another 6 months. But that's at least how I'm using a lot of my time when I go in the office, is try to grab lunch or coffee with a lot of the new people and some of my old friends I haven't talked to in a while.
Hey, would you guys be okay just kind of walking through your interview process and what that looks like for a candidate? Do you start off with, is it an initial phone interview that then advances into video or in person, or are there sharing of portfolios or exercises that you guys have candidates go through? What does that look like?
I can speak to at least the tech side. I mean, typically, to Shane's point, we do a lot of our interviewing via WebEx, so they're typically video calls. Depending on the technology, at least for the heavy like engineers, we usually do collaborative interviews, like a live coding assessment versus, you might know, like a take-home assessment or something that's timed to do on your own. It's usually demonstrating coding skills in a live environment. There's also system design exercises, again, collaboratively with different people on the team. And the key to top off all interviews, depending on what level you are, is obviously behavioral, to really see how somebody handles themselves in a work environment, in a collaborative environment, to make sure that it's a fit for both sides there. The interview process is we do a great job of mixing the interview teams. So we'll have individuals from different teams in tech interview different candidates for other teams, so we can get a really good sense of talent that we're evaluating.
I have to say that was one of the key reasons why I decided to go to ADP. Was my interview was developers, product owners and people in user experience from research and writing. It was a cross-disciplinary interview. And that, well, this was 7 years ago, but you don't really see that often. And it told me a lot about the culture and what I would get when I actually got there. And so I think to Pete's point, we do a lot of team interviews, right? Where it's like 2 or 3 people. I don't want them to get too big because then they get a little noisy and you know, people maybe get a little intimidated about being able to find their voice. But I almost always it's 3 rounds and multiple people. Depends on the role too. You see a lot more. I think more and more we're integrating exercises, but you know, look, you know this at Matrix, we all know this. Hiring good talent has never been more competitive. And so the speed at which we can move is also essential. If I can find somebody that I think is value to our team and I cannot react within 24 to 48 hours, I don't deserve hiring that talent.
That's great that you have that sense of urgency that definitely helps you stay competitive without a doubt. So, and then like
they just go.
Yeah, they definitely do. But I like that, like the holistic approach that you have. I mean, it does send a message about the internal teamwork that's within the culture. So makes sense.
It's a great question. Thank you for asking.
I've got a question. What is driving the increase in hiring for ADP right now at this time?
I can speak for our development side. We are having right now, specifically for my group, we are having a rapid shift in our focus for development. Our old mobile application was web view focused. So there were it was a lot of web code living inside of a native app via web views. And now we're changing our focus to be more cross-platform via Flutter. So that's neat. Because of that, now we need more iOS developers to train up the developers that we currently have. And it's a lot of knowledge sharing, but it's a big shift in the focus of our development going more into native development versus web, just because predominantly the majority of our users for our application are on mobile. So we're changing our development focus to focus where our users are at.
Nice. And you guys use Flutter. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And I think
game. It really is.
I have a couple of questions. So with the hiring process,
Go.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you tend to hire contractors who then convert over into a full-time, or do you hire direct full-time right away? And second question, probably directed towards Shane. As far as the UX teams are, how are they structured? Are they assigned to one specific product, or do they have several work streams across multiple products? And you know, how does that change throughout the cycle, sprint cycle?
Cool. Oscar, you want to take the first one? I'll take the second one.
Yeah, the first one is definitely a mixed bag. It's more so a conversation usually with who we're hiring. A contract to hire role is, I was actually a contract to hire role at ADP myself, and it goes both ways. It's when whoever you're interviewing is also testing out ADP. They're not fully sure if they want to stay in the role full time. That's normally when the contract to hire makes sense. So it is a mix. It's very much so a mixed bag, though.
Yeah, I think that's particularly true in UX and in development. I mean, we probably have just as many direct hires as we do contract hires. Mostly, I think it's meeting our talent where they are and what they're comfortable doing. From a UX team structure, we prefer a more embedded model where designers are embedded with Scrum teams, and they build relationships within a discipline. So we have designers that focus on payroll, time, talent, benefits, because those are in enterprise software design. There's a huge ramp up to understanding the complexities of those domains. And we made this shift about 2 years ago from being a product focused UX culture to being a domain focused culture. Then we also have leaders who, like myself, who are responsible for supporting the consistency of the experience within a given product. So we have, I think, a growing number of leaders who try to bust down those silos, because no organizational model is perfect. It's going to create silos in how you think and how you work. So we're trying to invert our focus to have more subject matter experts in our teams and be more embedded, because I think ultimately that's where the best results come from. An average designer, if this was part of your question, supports somewhere between 2 to 3 Scrum teams. I think any more than that is diminishing returns very rapidly.
Thank you.
That answer your question, Eric?
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome.
Shane, can you tell us what that nice green background is all about?
Yeah, great question. So during the pandemic, we started an internal like TED Talk style conference where we have some external speakers come, but we've also groomed roughly around 30 to 40 people to speak on data science, AI and ML, or this year I'm speaking with another one of my peers on a Flutter project that we did. And but as well, we like to look at key themes that are shifting our culture and how we work, and use it as a way to connect ideas and themes that are changing our culture. We do this every year now, and I've been lucky enough to work on this every year and to help support other people who are presenting. So there's a lot of coaching. We invested in training this year. So everyone who's presenting at the conference got small group training on giving TED Talk style presentations, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good culture driver for us.
All right, any other questions?
Did have a question in regards to internships. So considering we're in full swing for intern recruiting, I was curious, with your your dedicated campus recruiting teams, do interns typically come from the schools that they're recruiting from, that they're aligned to, or do you see students that are also applying from other schools that get opportunities to intern at ADP? And I'm also asking on behalf of Robert. A lot of the students at GSU are good friends of mine, so I want to make sure we can direct them in the right way.
Pete, that sounds like a
yeah, that's a big question. I thought you were going to answer for me. No, absolutely. You know, there is a campus, and I will send it out to everyone. I'll try to get their main email address, but they would handle from any school, anyone that's interested in interning, or even coming in as entry level for some of the opportunities. And they kind of triage that up to about, as long as there's less than 1 year of work experience, that would go to the campus team.
And I can't remember how many interns we had this past summer. I don't even remember in Alpharetta, it was 100 plus right. Interns.
No, we definitely embrace that program. It's great for us, you know, to give individuals a peek at ADP early on in their careers, and especially coming out of academia, transitioning to the workforce.
Do many of the interns then, are they offered a full-time position at ADP, or any percentage that you would know on that conversion?
I don't have a percentage, but I can say yes, because I personally onboarded a couple of people just in my department that did well as interns and were offered, entry level access to that same team. So we do it with the idea of, there's an educational process for the candidate, but we definitely want to hold on to those that are interested in building a career with us.
Awesome. So Jonathan, I know you've worked at companies I'm very familiar with, like Macy's, where Tony worked as well, Mannheim, Cox. Maybe, you said you're the senior person here. You've been there a long time at ADP. Maybe a little compare and contrast between the environments at, these other big Atlanta companies, and not that you want to say anything bad about other companies, but maybe why you stayed, because you've stayed at ADP maybe twice as long as you stayed at Cox and Macy's.
I stayed at ADP. It's been the longest I've been at any particular company in my career. So why? One, I'm 10 minutes from the office. That's one good reason. You start going, oh, do y'all want to go back downtown? No, I don't want to go back downtown. I want to stay close to home. Then all of a sudden we start working from home, and then it's like, oh, then that opens up things. So now what's trying to keep me here? It's the variety of opportunities that I have been able to participate in. Not necessarily, did you go from this level to that level, but within my team, I've been able to, help support and push the development organization to hire sites. I've been able to get into more of the infrastructure. While I've been here, I'm a Scrum Master right now, supporting our SRE teams and learning about AWS and all those good technologies. Key people, cool people like Tony, it helps the relationships. It helps me be able to do what I like to do. I participate in a lot of different organizations within the company. But because of that, they've allowed me to be able to bring value to the company through my work, as well as doing other curricular activities to help support the company, just like doing this kind of thing. This was something that I said, hey, let me help do this. And because they have allowed me to do those kind of things, it allowed me to stay here. Compared to other companies, it's a big company. Just like Cox is a big company, Mannheim's a big company, Coca-Cola is a big company. They all have their pluses and minuses. So it's really the people that are keeping me here and the type of work that I have the opportunity to do, and not being micromanaged. My leader isn't right over my shoulders asking me all these particular questions, and I can manage my day as I see fit to meet the business needs. So that's the big reason why I'm staying around.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it seems like you guys have a really healthy interdepartment type culture and the relationship. There's a lot of respect amongst the teams, it seems like, and good back and forth. So,
and like every company, we have our pluses and minuses. The coffee's not the greatest, so that's we do have a Starbucks, but if you want to get the coffee at the station, then I'm like, I'll just go spend the money and get my Starbucks.
I don't know. I think Victor said they have like this fancy espresso machine at State Farm. So,
I'm not saying.
The other thing that I'll add on Jonathan's comments is I think as an employee, as a new employee, your voice is heard, right? Your ideas are really heard, and they really take those into account as far as what you are bringing to the table as a new associate, bringing a different perspective, and they embrace that. They want those new ideas day in and day out, wherever they are, whenever they're available.
Yeah, I mean, despite its size, I think ADP is remarkably flat and far more nimble than I think, yeah, a lot of people give it credit for. And that makes it more opportunistic, I think, once you're inside. And you add that with the culture of support and empowerment, and it's a wonderful place to work.
I have a question piggybacking off of one of the statements that you guys made in terms of ADP's transitioning from being more siloed to being more domain specific. What I've seen companies go through those kinds of changes before. What kind of tools are you guys using to help shepherd that in, and what are some of the success stories that you have behind that?
Mm. That's a great question. To be clear, my answer earlier was about how UX was structured, right?
Right.
But product. So recently they combined UX and product, and the product organization is aligned by product and business unit, but the UX organization is intentionally organized differently to help us bust silos. So it's almost a blended model. We're not moving the whole organization one way or the other. And that was intentional from one of our senior leaders who said, okay, if we all align one way, we're not going to find the same opportunities if we align differently. And I mean, as a result, one of the things we're finding, because look, if you zoom out and look across our products globally, there's some redundancy in what we create. But because we're now kind of have these cross alignments baked in, we're able to see opportunities that I think much more quickly and more clearly that would have taken us, I think, a lot longer to find and act on those opportunities. And I think in UX, we see the similarity of need because we see it through the user's perspective, not through the business's perspective. And so allowing for both of those perspectives to exist, I think it makes for a more powerful end result in what we're able to deliver. Now, tools wise, with that's where the pandemic really helped us out, because it gave us tools almost in every discipline in every way to help us act more collaboratively and stay more connected.
Got it.
Does that answer your question? Maybe Oscar's got a different perspective in development, or maybe Tony.
It does answer my question. And I was looking at, so I worked at a large manufacturing company at one point, and they instituted the business Facebook system for the whole company wide. And that had the effect that you're talking about, where you actually got to see what was going on in other places. And so those are the kinds of things that I was looking for. And it sounds like that you guys are doing a really good job of being that voice that understands where things are happening at different parts of the company. So kudos to that.
Thanks. I think things like the hackathon and these internal conferences also helps expose ideas but also I think there was one of the things that happened during the pandemic where we really focused on making sure every individual contributor could tie what they were doing to larger initiatives in the company. And that focus, where, you know, I'm sure about OKRs, we focused on connecting our key results from individual contributors to our larger business objectives. And not only did that happen at the kind of cross company wide, that happened within each individual business unit and within our discipline. So things like that help us connect and have a clear through line of what we're doing. Because if you can't make that connection, you don't feel like you're making a difference, and you don't feel like you have a responsibility in the outcomes that we're all trying to achieve.
Thank you.
Sure. It's a great question.
Any other questions? It's not Thursday, so we're not rushing off to get to Thursday night football, but not to the belabor. I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. So just posted links to our social media. But yeah, if there are no other questions, I think we'll wrap it up here. Did anyone else have anything else to share?
I'll just put a
Thank you for
little,
having us, for sure.
yeah, thank you guys for coming and sharing. It was really a great discussion, I felt. Just a little quick plug for the October meeting. We have Kevin Walters from Intello, a company in San Francisco, joining us, and he's a senior diversity executive with that company, and he worked at AWS for a number of years in a similar type of role, and he's going to talk about allyship next month. So it should be a really good discussion. So just a little plug there. But again, just a thank you to ADP and Jonathan. Thanks for assembling your crew, and just a great discussion I felt tonight. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. And thank you, ADP, for coming out tonight.
Yes, thank you all.
Have a good evening.
Nice to see you again, John.
Yes, great to see you, Tony. Say hey to Michelle.
Will do. Take care.
Yep.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.